I'm That One Scot, and I'm back with the final reaction I'm going to be doing today, the very last one. This one, I saw the title for the video about a month or two ago, and I kept forgetting to watch it. Maybe it's a good reason that I kept forgetting it. It's titled 8 Horror Movie Fan Theories That Make the Films Even Creepier. You can read the thing below, you can, but it is. So, I wanted to watch this one, but I hadn't done it. Every time I wanted to see, there's always something else I wanted to see. The reason I like to watch this one is because I'm a big horror fan. No, big horror fan, big film fan, sorry. I'm not a huge horror fan. I don't like the kind of extreme horror stuff. It takes a lot for me to watch this stuff. Mind you, I did a Martyrs review, if you'll have seen that by this point, so make of that what you will. Anyway, I like films in general, but as this is a horror thing, and I'm just curious. I'm really curious, and I'm putting aside the whole horror aspect just to see what this is, just to see how it goes. So anyway, without further ado, let's get into this. And 3, 2, 1.
Fan theories are always a little far-fetched and weird, but they're especially fun to put together for horror movies, since they tend to be an exercise in either explaining or escalating the pre-existing creepiness. And while a good amount of them are inevitably ridiculous, the horror genre does throw up a handful that are at least worthy of a proverbial chin scratch. As such, I'm Ben from What Culture, and here are 8 horror movie fan theories that make the films even creepier. Obviously, there are spoilers ahead. Ooh. Number 8. Dewey is the third killer. Scream. After a woman named Maureen allegedly has an affair with Billy Loomis's father and subsequently splits up his parents, Billy and his best friend Stu take it upon themselves to murder her. Fair enough. They then set about slicing their way through their schoolmates until they can get to her daughter Sydney as well. Also sounds reasonable. All goes to plan until Billy gets thrown in jail after Sydney accuses him of attacking her. Yet despite clearly being a suspect and evidence putting him at the scene, he's released the next day. Why? Because Officer Dewey is on the case, or something. The theory goes that Dewey, who's always been a little obsessed with Sydney, snaps and helps Billy and Stu with their murderous rampage when his advances are rejected. A theory backed up when his sister is brutally murdered later on without him even batting an eyelid. Normal behaviour, that's fine. Number 7. Childs is the monster because he drank gasoline. The Thing. After spending the entire film watching the creature strategically shapeshift its way through a murder spree, it finally comes down to Childs and McCready waiting it out in sub-zero temperatures to be rescued. To pass the time, they share a bottle of scotch. Or is it scotch? Having just watched McCready make Molotov cocktails using the same type of bottle he hands Childs, it's possible that McCready was testing his pal to see if he's actually hanging out with the Thing. Childs, the intergalactic homicidal space alien, has no reference point for taste and happily slurps it down. Plus, as soon as Childs takes a drink from the bottle, the music score rises again. Throughout the film, the score is the telltale cue for unpleasantness. Number 6. The boy is sacrificed to save everyone else. The Mist. Stephen King's The Mist is actually rather straightforward. A group of people, including our main protagonist David, are stuck inside a grocery store after a thick mist envelops everything around them. And as if that wasn't enough, a squid-like creature then starts picking them off one by one. Typical. As tensions grow, one of the more unhinged occupants of the store concludes that God requires a sacrifice to save them from the evil surrounding them, and picks out David's son as the sacrificial lamb. Typical. When she then tries to make that happen, David kills her for being so unreasonable. Typical. Except, maybe she was onto something. After everyone decides that survival is futile, David shoots them all, including his own son. Oh, typical. But immediately after he does this, the fog lifts and the military comes to rescue the survivors. Typical. Would killing his son have resolved things sooner? Well, I suppose you could kill him. Shit father who dragged out a scary fog monster attack by not killing his son sooner for whackers. Hashtag shit father who dragged out a scary fog monster attack by not killing his son sooner for whackers. Sorry, editor, for that. Number 5. Eugene is Billy from Black Christmas. Behind the Mask. The Rise of Leslie Vernon. As the title implies, this film goes behind the scenes, using a mockumentary format to show our favourite violent psychopaths target their victims and execute seemingly supernatural acts. With some assistance distance from veteran slasher villain and friend Eugene, it follows Leslie Vernon, an up-and-comer on the teen murder scene, and who's at some point presumably graced the cover of Teen Murdering Monthly. But where did Eugene acquire his skills? Well, he's actually Billy from Black Christmas, one of the very first slasher films, and the one that originated the idea of the serial killer mysteriously disappearing at the end. Number 4. The aliens are actually demons. Signs. At first glance, Signs appears to be just another of M. Night Shyamalan's pseudo-horror movies that relies entirely on a naff and predictable twist ending. When aliens invade Earth, we learn through sheer coincidence that water hurts them, so our stars splash the aliens right out of their home, and the world, it would appear, is saved. Except it's actually about demons coming to Earth. The only reason we think these are aliens in the first place is the appearance of those classic crop circles and the traditional alien-like proportions of the life forms. Not only do we not actually see any UFOs or other alien technology, but we're treated to religious iconography around every corner. The entire plot of the movie centers around a priest rediscovering his faith and eventually dispatching evil using glasses of holy water. Number 3. Dr. Sam Loomis is Sam Loomis from Psycho. Halloween. The most logical explanation for Donald Pleasence's character sharing the name of Janet Leigh's boyfriend from Psycho is that John Carpenter simply wants to pay tribute to the famous Hitchcock film, while also giving a wink and a nod to viewers who recognize Jamie Lee Curtis as Janet Leigh's daughter in real life. But what if it goes beyond that? What if Dr. Loomis actually is the same Sam Loomis from Psycho? At the end of Psycho, Loomis catches Norman Bates and turns him over to the authorities, but not before his girlfriend is murdered. There's no doubt he would be emotionally scarred for life, but why not use these horrible experiences for good? Specifically, by working towards a doctorate in child psychology to prevent this happening again in the future. One of his first patients, it transpires, was 6-year-old Michael Myers. Once again, finding himself in a dire situation full of murder, Loomis spends multiple films tracking him as a way to put some of his own personal demons to rest, and to try righting some of those wrongs that occurred back in Arizona. Number 2. The cannibal family consists of traumatized police officers. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Easily the most far-fetched theory on this list, it's also one of the most utterly fascinating to think about. It's relatively well known by now that the basic idea of Leatherface was modeled on the infamous Ed Gein, but one theory suggests that the connection goes deeper than that. You see, while investigating the gruesome scene at Gein's house, which contained an outrageous number of stray body parts, the officers were utterly traumatized by what they saw. Eventually, crossing the line from traumatized to completely insane, they take up residence in Gein's rundown home and decide they're going to project that same mental anguish onto anyone who dares bother them, essentially recreating aspects of those murders from years back, becoming the cannibal family from the film. It would certainly help explain why they never seem to get caught. Number 1. He's experiencing purgatory in real time. Jacob's Ladder. Even audiences had trouble figuring out how much of the film is supposed to be real and how much of it is merely a hallucination or illusion, but the most common thread that runs through Tim Robbins' character is actually experiencing the effects of purgatory throughout the film, and has, in fact, been in this intermediate state since he died in Vietnam. Not ready to let go of this plane of existence, he wanders through purgatory until the very end of the film, where he's finally led into a bright light by his dead son. In the final scene, military doctors declare him dead and comment on how peaceful he looks. This is a pretty concrete bit of evidence that he died during Vietnam, though this theory maintains that the film actually happens in real time. Chalk it up to time passing faster in purgatory than it does on a physical plane, because despite 6 years passing in the story, his character experienced it all in a couple of hours. And that's our list. Are there any theories we missed off? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You can even follow me here on Twitter if you're a fan player. I'm Ben from What Culture, and thanks for watching.